Thank you so much for sitting down with us for a little bit today. How much time do you have?
I have about maybe 45 to an hour,
Okay.
depending on how long you want to talk.
Yeah, I think 45 minutes should do it. If not, I know you maybe get you a little break before the rest of the camp today.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. So everybody, this is Derrick Jackson. We're sitting down with Derrick Jackson, a wonderful local trombonist. We were really excited to have Derrick as a new member here of our local. And Derrick, tell us a little bit about the camp you're doing right now. What is it?
All right, so currently I'm the band director at the Stillwell School of the Arts in Clayton
Okay.
County, and it's in Jonesboro, Georgia. The camp we're doing this week is a techniques camp where we're actually teaching the kids about routines, about method books, about the business music industry, about equipment, anything to get the younger students acclimated and introduced to professional musicianship.
Wow.
Yeah, so I mean, it's been a great experience for me so far because I've been able to work with the kids on different things, chorales. Some of them never knew what an etude was.
Mm-hmm.
Getting through, some kids came with two major scales. They're leaving with eight.
Awesome.
So, yeah, I mean, awesome. Eight-ish, but they're actually, they're seeing key signatures. So
right.
We got ages from middle school all the way up to high school juniors going into their senior year.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to ask what age range it was. So that's.
Yeah. So with this COVID thing, it's gonna help some of the directors as well because it gives them a head start on some things. And it's just been a great week. Kids have been very focused, and it's made the camp real easy.
Awesome. Where is it? Is it just a?
Oh, it's actually housed at my school,
Okay.
the Arts. So we've been open since 2014, and we've got great facilities. Last week we had a jazz camp.
Okay.
And we brought in professionals this week. Last week we had Gordon Vernick in and a host of professional musicians, and that was great. We had a concert at the end of the week. This week there's no concert, but we are doing like small group stuff and playing for each other and things. So
awesome. That's beautiful. And just help me out because I'm new to the area. Where is Stillwell? Is that?
Oh yeah, Stillwell is in Jonesboro, Georgia. Okay. If you get off on the Mount Zion exit, you'll see something that says Clayton County Performing Arts Center. And we're connected actually to the Performing Arts Center.
Oh,
so
wow.
Hallway that connects us. So we're just right there. And we're a small school. We may have about 500 students. But their majors are fine arts. We have dance, band, orchestra, chorus, visual arts, and guitar and piano.
Yeah. How long have you been there?
The school's been here since 2014. I've been in Clayton County since 2005. I started the performing arts program here. My first year, I was an elementary school teacher, then went to middle school for 5 years.
Wow.
The band, and then they gave me the opportunity to be a start of the pilot program for the Magnet. Wow. And we had lots of success, and so they ended up building a school for us.
Wow. So you're there full time?
Yeah, I have been here. I've been full time. Yeah.
So you must be working like 80 hours a week if you're working there and you're working at the Alliance and all the other theaters in town as well, right?
Oh yeah. It's funny. I just got finished conducting the musical The Color Purple at City Springs.
Oh, you were conducting?
Yeah, that was yeah. And I've done musicals here, but I've never done a professional setup. That was my first time. I mean, I had a great pit. I mean, it's probably the best guys in town. And then the cast, we had Broadway stars, Felicia Boswell, Gavin. I mean, it was just a host of things, but that pushed it. Now I was doing about 18-hour days with that.
Wow.
For about maybe 2 months, maybe a month and a half.
That's no joke.
Yeah, my thing is you sleep when you die. So I think I got that from 2 Chainz. I can't remember. But anyways, yeah, so sometimes it does get long, but it's very rewarding, to say the least.
Absolutely. It's a multi-textured tapestry of a life that you've got going on, and it was just so cool to exchange some emails and some text messages, and also we we're really excited to get your bio up on social media and stuff. And I have to say, your post has been our #1 post of all
Oh,
time.
I
And you're
win.
not even on social media, right? You're not even
I'm
on.
not even on it, man.
Wow.
I used to really get into it, and then I just saw, so everyone has their own views, and I agree you should have your own opinions, but it started to kind of lead the way I thought about people. And I'd rather just meet them face to face and interact that way.
Yes.
So I don't have any preconceived notions, and they don't think
Yeah.
I'm this. So I just kind of pulled away from it. I do have a website though, still though.
No, it's good. I love your website. Yeah. Yeah, and I'm excited to learn more about the DJ Encounter. And is that already in the works? Has it been released? Tell us more about that.
Yeah. So right now we're going through all this mastering stuff. I did the one Play to Win that's been out for the longest. I was just kind of dipping my foot in the water, and I actually had producers for that. But I've been self-producing stuff lately, and I've got some trombone collaboration projects. I don't know if you saw the one where I had pretty much all the top trombonists probably in the city of Atlanta.
Oh no, I didn't see
Yeah,
this.
it's linked to my website, and I'll send it to you. We did a remake of Black and White by Lil Baby. And
Okay.
I don't know if you know Marcus Lewis. He played trombone with Janelle Monáe for years.
Oh
He was a
wow.
local here. He moved to Kansas City, but he did the arrangement for me.
Okay.
And I mean, it's awesome. It's got Wes Funderburg. It has Simon
Oh yeah.
Shermans. I mean, Tim Pitchford. I mean, it's a host of trombonists on it.
Is
So
it
it
a
has 3 hip hop artists and a singer too. So it's
oh
yeah.
so is it a with rhythm section as well,
Yep.
or
It has rhythm section, and there's a tuba player on it that goes to USC out in
cool?
California. So I mean, it's legit.
Wow.
I'll send it to you, and
Oh
I'm
yeah.
doing both that. That's a part of the project. It's like they hadn't come up with a name for the trombone group yet, but it'll all be included under the DJ Encounter. So
Amazing, amazing. So is it kind of like for like a trombone quartet that's arranged with rhythm section and vocals, or
yeah, it's about 18 of us.
oh
It's 18 trombonists and
okay.
rhythm section and the vocalist who raps as well. She's incredible, and there's 2 other rappers.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh
So
my God. And are the 18 all playing like arrangements at the same time? Or are they kind of featured on different tracks, or
yeah, they play on this. We play the melody out with backgrounds, and then there's a part where there's soloists, and there's maybe it's probably about 8 solos, and then I take one at the very end that's separate from the solo section.
okay.
Yeah, it's like they all take like 8 bars. I mean, it's cool the way it's set up. You have to check it out.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
What's the project called?
Well, we're trying to decide on our name right now.
Okay.
We're thinking about United ATL, but I don't know if we can use that or not. So,
Oh, with
yeah, with
the soccer team.
yeah. So we'll figure out something. I thought about maybe Zone 6, but then everybody lives in different areas. Like I live in Zone 6, but people may live in Zone 4, and some people live in Milton. So
Right.
we're gonna figure that part out soon. But it's gonna be cool once we get together and figure that part out.
That I love it. Well, and I love how it falls underneath the also your DJ Encounter
Yeah.
entity. Is that kind of like a functioning as like a record label or publishing entity?
Not yet. It's more so like a what do I want to say? I always think of things like a groove. But that kind of groove. It's like a genre of music, but it's like music that
you can tap your toe to, and you can
yeah, it kind of it you don't have to be like a complete theorist. Be like, oh, this is a 2/5 here, and this is this is the relative minor. No, it's just kind of stuff that's good music, and there's like no type of judgmental things when we play on it. We just some players are stronger, some are weaker, but we just make good music.
I love it.
Yeah, the DJ Encounter is pretty much me.
Yeah.
I got some other stuff online. I'll forward to you, but it's like when people encounter me, when they see me, when they interact with me, you get what you see. I'm very transparent. I've always been transparent. I kind of choose my words really closely so I don't say anything that I don't have to regret later. But we all do that, but I try to try to make it so it's less regret. But yeah, that's how I came up with that name.
Yeah, I love it. No, it's great. And definitely send some links. We'll include them here in the body. So for folks that are watching and also reading along, that we'll have the links so that you can just check out Derrick's music and everything about the DJ Encounter. That's great. I'm into it. And so you grew up originally, or you spent a lot of time in Florida. Remind me, is that where you grew up?
Yeah, well, I went to college at Florida A&M, and but my dad was in the military. Okay. He was an officer in the military for almost 20 years, retired maybe a year early. We traveled all over the country. We were in Georgia. I was born in Valdosta, Georgia, and then we moved to Germany. Yeah, from Germany, we moved to Fort Stewart, Georgia, which is south near Savannah. And then we moved to Virginia, Fort Eustis, and then we moved to Greensboro, North Carolina. My dad taught ROTC there, and that's where I started playing an instrument, was in Greensboro.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah, starting in 5th grade, my band director was this guy named Kurt Gill.
Okay.
And he actually was in the actual movie The Color Purple. He was the trumpet player, player that goes in with Suge, Avery did church and all of that, and the original movie, yeah. No, but he was a jazz musician. He's still alive. He is a jazz musician. I think he still plays, but just seeing his example and him pushing me. So long story short, then we moved back to Georgia and ended up graduating from a school in Illinois. But my parents are originally from Florida. So going to see grandma, granddad, all of that, that's my Florida life. Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, amazing. I've been down here just a couple of years, 3 years or so now, and just the amount of talent and also the jazz community that, frankly, when you're living on the coasts, typically in New York or in the LA or San Francisco, you don't think about, but honestly, the talent here is just outrageous and just incredible. So to see that and to also how you had developed kind of your own unique sound in Florida. You were mentioning you were kind of combining a fusion of music at that time. Tell us a little bit more about that and about how you developed that.
Okay, so there was a guy, a music education major, and we were, I was heavily rooted in hip hop. I grew up around like Eric B. and Rakim. You had Big Daddy Kane, Kumo D, LL Cool J, Third Base. The list goes on and on. And when I got to Florida A&M, I met this guy named Philbert Andrews. He's a trumpet player, and we were, because Florida State and FAMU was all in the Florida A&M was in the same city. We go to this jam session every Monday at Waterworks, and I still meet guys up here that were in those jam sessions, and wherever I go, usually I'll run into someone. But we ended up listening to a trumpet player by the name of Russell Gunn. And he was doing a lot of like the hip hop, jazz. It was Buckshot LaFunk. It was him and I think Branford Marsalis.
Oh, wow.
And we decided to put some things together. So we would listen to like Nelly and, we even did something with Nirvana, some like that. And we just infused the hip hop with the jazz standards as we were learning them. Like Donna Lee, we played that as a hip hop tune.
Like with the beat, like mainly the beat.
Like even the bass and the rhythm. I mean, everything that's kind of changed. Some of the changes would stretch longer in certain spots. Okay. And then we just do covers sometimes. We straight up do like a Bob Marley tune. And it was a lot of fun. It seemed like it was just so easy when you were younger just to do whatever. And no one would think anything about it. Right. Now we overthink it like, do we really do Beethoven's Fifth here? Should we do this? Are we gonna get some some
Mhm.
criticism about it? But like I said, I've always had a creative mind like that. But
Mm.
There's Filbert Andrews. There's a Barry sax player by the name of Jason Marshall.
Okay.
He's up in New York. He plays with the Mingus band
Mm.
right now, and I think he also plays with there's a band out of New Orleans too.
Okay.
So a lot of us are still playing. I think Phil's a teacher, still
Hmm.
plays at church. Jason, like I said, full time. Tyler Money, he ended up going
Mm.
to some bass school up in Canada, transferred from Florida State. And he was
Mm.
working, I think, on Blues Clues with that show.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I mean,
Our
I wish
nephew
I had,
loves Blue's Clues.
yeah, so I wish I had the picture, but anyways, I look at that picture and I'm like, all of us are doing something. I mean, even
Mm.
Saunders was around during that time. He had a great. I mean, it's just so many good musicians in Tallahassee. But yeah,
Mm.
the above standards, and of
Mm.
course, that's the name of our group above. So we were
Hmm.
thinking more so past what the standards, the standard literature is for jazz.
Hmm.
Just putting a flavor on it so that people that don't really listen to jazz can kind of get an introduction to instrumental music.
Absolutely. One, it's so great to have a diverse set of music too, with some things that people might recognize, something that might be a little more heady that people who want that kind of thing that have one, maybe one of those, and like, it's really it's I think in the jazz world, at least for me, because I grew up also studying jazz in college.
Yeah,
Often it's we go straight for the heady stuff, and sometimes we can lose our audience that way.
yeah, definitely.
Hmm.
You're right. You're definitely right about that, especially when you're sitting up there and you're playing all the things you are, and it's a great tune.
Hmm.
But I would notice sometimes on the set, it'd just be a lot of clicking with food and talking in general.
Right.
And I'm
People
like,
are.
yeah, and you spend, and it's, we never get paid for what the amount of time we put into our craft.
Mm,
There's no overtime for working on
right.
2-5-1s for 3 weeks or whatever.
Yeah, we don't get paid to woodshed, you know.
Yeah. You're just out there, you're on 1,000 acres and you're just chopping trees down for the fun of it. Kind of like Rocky on Rocky 4, I think it was, and he was getting ready to go to Russia. Just chopping trees.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And for speaking on that, for folks that are kind of coming up, and it sounds like you started in the jazz world, but also in the band and brass world.
Oh
But
yeah.
now you're playing in pit orchestras, and you're playing and you're conducting and you're doing all this amazing work as a producer as well. Do you have any advice for young folks who are getting started in this business?
Well, I'll say the first part professionally. Be on time.
Mm.
Always have an open ear to opportunities. Like all of us we kind of had to pay our wages to get to a certain, position in our profession. Because now the issue is like a lot of younger musicians, they think that, I just started playing, I'm in college. I didn't, I started playing 5 years ago. Now I'm in college. So now I expect everyone to give me a call for any gig,
Mm.
or I want to make $500 on the first gig that I have.
Mm.
And I just say, be patient, be ready. And everyone says this is so cliche. Uh, Stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
Mm.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what I'll say. Also, never think that someone's not watching you
Mm.
when you go
Mm.
to different gigs. I mean, I'm always like that. If I'm playing with Joe Branson's band and there's a new guy, or if I'm playing with Russell's group and I'm kind of looking, I'm like, oh, okay, he's pretty solid. He's a good musician, but more so, he's not like outrageous, you know,
Right.
coming in wrong and confused and dazed. More so, really, really focused. So you always got to approach it as if it is an interview or an audition.
Right. That's huge. I think especially we in especially in the jazz world, our auditions, we don't have blind auditions.
Yeah,
Like
none of that.
orchestral auditions.
Yeah, they're definitely none of that. Straight up, if you go in, and I mean, sometimes you don't even have to be the strongest player. You just have to have the right attitude.
Yeah.
And the willingness to work.
Yes.
To get better. And a lot of guys really, they will enjoy playing with someone that doesn't come with a lot of baggage and drama.
Right.
Especially if their role is side man. The leader doesn't want, like, first off, he wants to make sure that no one's going to mess up the gig he has.
Right.
Or she has. So that's the plus. But
yeah.
Other advice is, I mean, just be yourself. Don't try to be someone that you're not, because people can see through that quick, and just continue to work. Don't give up. Where I'm at now, I never thought I would never, be at this level. I had a teacher in college who got hired to do an off-Broadway show. And he was like, there's a chance there may be a bass trombone book opening. There's 2 trombones on the show. And I happened to, and it wasn't even a bass trombone, it ended up being just a second bone part. And they ended up taking a chance on me. It was this company out of Canada. The guy's name was Sam Luke Fear. Passed maybe in 2005, but he used to do all the off-Broadway productions like Annie and just a ton of them. And the show was Forever Swing. And that's where I learned that you can get fired on a gig. I didn't get fired. His jazz band was totally different from a show. And I met this guy named, deputy contractor was Paul Barron. Okay. And Paul he was just here doing Frozen at the Fox.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's done so many. He's an incredible lead trumpet player. He's probably one of the top ones in the country. And he sat me down and he talked to me about routines, like the way they do it. I mean, pros do he had me on a Bill Adams routine. He's an incredible trumpet player. And I mean, I was just, not play trombone, but I was just reading more, for the most part, the trumpet stuff.
Wow.
And that really got my mind together on how to approach show music. And I did that. And then, after that, I think it was then when I got back to Tallahassee, then I was hired to do the Barry Manilow show.
Okay.
Yeah. So, like I said, it's just going in, listening, being humble. I could have easily said, man, why are y'all treating me like this? Instead, I just asked the contractor, I said, so what do I need to do so that the lead trombone player will feel confident?
Right.
And, a lot of those guys have been playing. They played in Rob McConnell and the Boss Brass for years. So I was young. I was really, really young. So being that young musician and being thrown in that situation, just be yourself and be humble and be willing to learn, because you don't know everything. I still don't know everything.
Right. The older we get, the less we know.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
I hope that wasn't too long-winded, but that's it.
No, not at all.
Musicians.
No, it's one thing that I think a lot about is our youth, and about how, the older we get, and as more opportunities present themselves as we get older and more experienced. That's what I want to tell everybody that's just growing up. Like, what would I say to myself if I was, 24 again? Just like, hold on, it's gonna get better. I promise you.
Yeah.
Stay positive and do good work.
That's it, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. I was kind of curious how you got into the conducting thing, because that's such a specific world.
Yeah. So well, I'm a band director, so we've done a few musicals here. I used to do the all-county musical every year, and then we started doing it at our school. The last musical I conducted, I think, was it wasn't Ragtime. It was a chorus line. We did it here at the school. So I ended up getting hired to do chorus line at City Springs. And there were some guys that were considered, but they just didn't have the scheduling. I think it was 2 other guys. And then Sam talked to me about it. And I said, you know what? I want to do it. And it probably was the best decision I made, being offered it and doing it, because I saw so many things I never saw. Like, I saw the show actually being blocked and everything from like the beginning. I mean, it was incredible. And then I got to see I got to see the professional, just everything, how the moving parts move, like the vocalists and the stars and the executive directors and the director, and how, you know, how intense it can be when you're getting ready for a show to happen. And I think everything, it happened so fast. I didn't realize what was going on until I was sitting in the theater and I'm like, stand by. And I'm
Right.
like, this is really happening.
Right.
And all these moving parts depend on me lifting this baton. I don't think we clicked anything on that one.
So were there in-ear monitors, or?
We had in-ear monitors and stuff.
But no click track.
No click track.
Okay.
Which was probably a good thing because I would have been pressing and all that, and you know. But yeah,
somebody has to trigger that.
Yeah, and that's so. But I mean, everything was great. It was a great production. They've got clips online everywhere. I mean, it was fun. It had its great days. There's days when you're walking down to the pit and you're like, man, I really don't know if I can make it through this today. And then it ends up being one of the better shows. Yeah. So yeah, but it did change some things. I had to be very, very disciplined during that process. And I've carried some of those things over into the playing the horn. I mean, it was a great experience, to say the least. I journaled on it. If I get hired to do more musicals, I'll always reflect. I'll know what to prep on. I'll know where to stand on certain things. You know, but yeah, that's kind of how I got into it. I mean, they took a chance on me, and you know, I was so grateful to.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just, all I can say is, man, just being myself, just being transparent.
Right. That's amazing to be able to just, you know, completely, you know, put aside the past and even the present, or the future. You're really just in the present moment.
Yeah, you're in that moment.
Yeah, that's beautiful. It's like tapping into this idea of a flow state, I guess. I don't know if you're not to go on the spiritual path or anything, but I believe a lot in that, and you know, and a lot of, you know, especially my favorite artists, you know, like Miles Davis, folks that I grew up transcribing, you know, note for note, Cannonball and Brain, and
I love Cannonball.
You know, how did they tap into this flow state, and how do you not let your monkey mind kind of get the better of yourself? How do you what kind of practice do you use to become present?
Yeah, so I'm I don't want to say I'm like a deacon or an elder or anything like that, but I do have a regimen of praying every morning before I start my day. And I think throughout the day, I'm always talking with God, even if I could be turning like, man, please don't let me hit this car. You know, it could be stuff like that. But when I prep for this, like my thing for the musical, and this is not too personal, was every time Celie would go on stage, like the opening scene is just her. And I would look at Celie and I'm like, all right, Celie, we got to pull this wagon tonight. So I always had this mental imagery of like me being connected Celie through the entire thing. And then before that, how I prep myself is I stopped drinking a lot of coffee. And I started doing natural things from Arden's Garden. There was this hibiscus thing they had. And then for mornings, my wife bought these turmeric immunity shots. I mean, it was like the best. Mentally, I was really, really there. Physically, that was the hard part, making sure I eat. You don't want to eat too much before you go into that, because you, as a conductor, you have to be legitly into this thing the entire 2 hours and 20 minutes or whatever it is. Versus if you're playing in the pit, you're in it, but you know,
you might be able to tacit here and there.
Yeah, right. So, but yeah, just that part of it every day. And then, you know, on those days I was doing 18-hour days. So I get home at 11:15 and I would go, I eat something real quick, nothing too heavy. And then try to get in bed. But my secret to getting through it was Cupheads. Have you seen the cartoon Cuphead on Netflix?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, so there's this one episode called Baby. And there's this little baby bottle. The Cupheads are like these cartoon characters. This is off a video game I play, but two cartoon characters. Anyways, it's like Looney Tunes, but like 2020-ish. And this baby was just giving everyone hell the entire time. And it was funny. So I do that to kind of, you know, forget whatever goods or bads. And I go to sleep. I get up the next morning. I'm like, well, I got to teach first period. This is what we're doing. Oh, being very organized too.
Right.
That's how I got through it. Having a calendar, having every, and I do that now. If sometimes every day or every hour.
Yeah.
Everything is, and I know like from 3 to 4:30, no matter what, I've got the nap.
Right.
I'll shut it down. I'll do that nap and I get up. Even if it's something I'm like, I have to get done, I have to go by that schedule. I know I won't make it if I don't.
Yeah, that's
so
to be able to actually have everything mapped out and planned out is a huge thing. And it really helps to become present, like you're saying. But I love the idea of decompressing, because we all need time to just, let's decompress here, you know?
Yes, like when I did a show in Barcelona and Spain and Madrid, and it's like between the hours, I think of 3 to 8 or 4 to 7, there's like no movement. Everyone goes home and they nap and they, you know, and then they open back up the restaurants later. So I'm like, wow, I just kind of took that concept. Now that I think about it, I was like, well, from this time to this time, I'm just going to shut everything down. And then we start again the next hour and a half. So yeah, decompressing, cup heads, 11:30 at night. It works. It works. Yeah.
So last little tidbit here. I just wanted to ask one last thing about what's happening with you in the future. Is there anything that we can kind of be on the outlook for, or any upcoming shows you're excited about? Anything happening that you want to share?
Yeah, well, I'm really excited about this West Side Story that's going to happen. It's my first time doing this show, and it's going to be a challenge, but I'm up for it. So I'm excited about that. I'm really excited to see what's going to go on with this trombone project I've been doing. Now that we're going to have time opening again to actually put this thing out there to the public. You know, with a live concert. I'm really, because I got guys coming in from out of town and in town. I mean, it's just going to be a great trombone reunion. You know, it's going to be good. I'm just excited for everything. I don't believe I don't think this year is going to be the pinnacle of my career. I think it's really just starting. And I kind of have an idea of what I want. And that's another thing. And I didn't say this with young musicians, but you got to kind of speak it. You just got to say it. Hey, I am going to be successful. I am going to be a professional musician. I remember sitting on the couch and not the couch. It was the patio, the porch, back porch with my wife. And we were just going through things. She has her PhD now. She works at Georgia State.
Wow.
Yeah, but yeah, she's on it. But I would sit back, and one day I was like, I want to be a professional. I want to get back playing. And man, it was like instant. Everything started, because I would do little things here and there, but everything really started moving forward once I claimed that I was going to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's putting out an affirmation or a cause, or even just and that's going to have a ripple effect.
Yes, it does.
Just like,
it does. And I don't hang around a lot of negative people.
That is very, that can be hard though, because it's like,
it can,
you know, misery loves company.
I know I've learned how to block that stuff out. And even sometimes if it's like really negative, I'll just remove myself from the situation. You know, if I'm sitting in a green room or a break room and I just hear a bunch of nonsense, it's going to just really bother me. I just excuse myself. Or I just block it all out. I get on my phone, read something. But yeah, that's why I stopped all the social media stuff too. I just cannot stand negativity, especially when you're on a gig and you're complaining about the gig. And I'm like, well, you could be home.
Oh,
and that's one thing I try to stay away from, is just complaining about gigs, because it could be totally different. You took the gig. Right. You know, and then you know, sometimes they talk about the leaders, but I've been a leader before.
Right.
And that's a really, really tough situation
To be in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially when you're dealing with your friends and, you know, they expect this and this is what we usually do. Yeah, but we can't do this.
Right.
The client doesn't want this time or whatever. So, but yeah, I meant to say that, staying away from negativity.
Yeah.
I don't watch the news a lot. I kind of pulled myself away.
In this state, oh boy.
And I don't do a lot of politics with people either. I think when you're dealing with music, you just gotta.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, music is the universal language. It's connecting us. And so why should we be constructing walls or boxes to separate? When in fact, just like you're saying, we focus on the positive. If something is becoming negative, I love it. You just frankly just tune it out, walk away. And that's great advice for anyone, regardless of age, you know, to remember.
Definitely.
Absolutely. I hear a xylophone. Was that a xylophone or a marimba?
Yeah, we got percussion stuff going on in there. So yesterday they did. I got this great percussion instructor, Ryan Lindsay. He's in there now. He's a band director, but he does a lot of gigging. Mm-hmm. He was just in The Color Purple, the movie.
Oh, the new one.
Yeah, so they've been working on that. I think he was an extra on that, a few things. But yeah, they're just in there getting acclimated to playing that chromatic scale. He's a middle school student. I'm just glad you hadn't heard any woodwinds. Middle school woodwind is a little different, I think, from when we were in school. So
well, and COVID hasn't helped with that, just with the regularity of being able to play, having horn to face.
Exactly. That's so they're playing catch up.
Yep. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We all need a little catching up right now.
Yes, we do.
This is what we're doing. And I thank you for catching up with me. It was just nice to see you today.
Yeah, definitely, man. I had to catch up. I was like, this is going to happen.
Yeah, I appreciate you slotting out the time. And for everybody, just FYI, this is Derrick Jackson. We're sitting down with DJ. He is amazing. He's a new member, trombonist, bass trombonist, conductor, producer. He's just fantastic, and we're really excited to be able to sit down and share a little bit more about Derrick with y'all. Yeah, so thank you, Derrick.
You so much. Thank you, Aaron. I really appreciate the invitation, and man, like I said, this has been a privilege and a pleasure.
Yeah.
To be today in
thank you,
Atlanta Federation of Musicians.
No, we appreciate you giving us a little bit of your time. You know, I know people are busy, but I think what's so cool is that being willing to share, you know, your own journey so that people can get some insight, and the youth can be inspired.
Oh yeah.
You know, to make the choice to pursue music, because it still is an amazing, fulfilling profession.
It is. It is. That's what I was just explaining to the trombone young players I got next door. They're just so amazed by all of this. I'm like, you can do it. Mm-hmm. You know, you gotta put your focus in it. But exactly. I think this is a really good way to reach out, you know, to college students, you know, middle, high school, to show them that this is something that's real.
Yes.
And you can do something that you love, and you don't have to sit and drag yourself to work every day. Mm-hmm. You know, and people are like, well, you just do it for fun. I'm like, no, we don't do it for fun. We work just as hard as your engineer or your scientist. Best believe that. But
yes.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Aaron, for having me today.
Absolutely, Derrick. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you again soon. I hope to see you at a show very soon.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Trading Places ends next week. So
okay.
Awesome. Trying to check it out. It's gonna be great.
Well, in West Side, I'm really excited to. West Side's one of my favorite shows, and
that's gonna be amazing. The music, I've listened to the music, you know, numerous occasions. I didn't see it on Broadway, but I saw like different recordings of it on YouTube, and then I actually, of course, the movie everyone's seen.
Yeah, the new one.
Yeah,
especially the new one just came out. So
definitely, man, come out. It'll be a hang.
Love it. I love it, man. Well, listen, have a great rest of your day and enjoy. Have a successful weekend this weekend, okay?
All right, man, too. Be safe.
All right, DJ.
All right.
See you, man.
All right.
Be well.